Hi my dear students, welcome to my biology class. Today we are going to start a new chapter, chapter 6, molecular basis of inheritance. In the previous chapter, principles of inheritance and variation, we have learned about the genes. The genes are the unit of inheritance which transmit the characteristics from the parents to young ones. They are the unit of inheritance. In this chapter, we are going to learn how the gene looks like. What is the role of gene in the transmission of genetic material? What is the chemical structure of the gene? What is the chemical nature of the gene in the living body? So you may be familiar with this figure. This is the diagrammatic representation of DNA. DNA is one of the major polynucleotides. It is also a biomacromolecule. Before we study about DNA, its chemical structure and function, we need to understand about what is a polynucleotide. Because DNA is a polynucleotide. The two major polynucleotides are DNA and RNA. The DNA and RNA are also known as nucleic acids. Both of them can act as genetic material in living organisms. DNA is the genetic material in most of the living organisms, but the RNA is the genetic material in a few living organisms, especially in some viruses. But RNA has a lot of functions in the living body. They mainly involve in protein synthesis. But DNA is the best genetic material. We will learn about DNA and its properties later. So before we understand more about DNA, we must know what is a polynucleotide. Now we are going to learn about the structure of a polynucleotide. Here, poly means many, nucleotides. Polynucleotide is actually a polymer of nucleotides. Here the monomer is nucleotide. Suppose this is one nucleotide, then it is connected to the next nucleotide, then it forms as a chain of nucleotides. So this is called the diagrammatic representation of a polynucleotide. Got it? Now we are going to learn about how a polynucleotide is formed. What is the composition of a polynucleotide? First of all, we must know what are the components of a nucleotide. We know that a nucleotide is made up of three major components, such as number one, pentose sugar, nucleotide. Its components are pentose sugar, nitrogenous bases, and phosphate group. Okay, a pentose sugar is of two types. Those are ribose sugar and deoxyribose sugar. The two types of pentose sugar are ribose sugar and deoxyribose sugar. Okay, ribose sugar is present in RNA. Here pentose sugar means a sugar molecule which has 5 carbon atoms. That's why it is known as pentose sugar. The ribose sugar is the sugar that is present in the RNA. RNA is ribonucleic acid. The deoxyribose sugar is present in another nucleic acid or polynucleotide, that is DNA. Deoxyribonucleic acid. So both RNA and DNA are polynucleotides as well as nucleic acids. Now let's familiarize with the nitrogenous bases that are present both in DNA and RNA. There are mainly 5 nitrogenous bases. Those are number 1, adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine, and uracil. These are the 5 nitrogen bases that are commonly found in the polynucleotides. Here, the adenine and guanine are known as purines. Purines are double-ringed structures, while the cytosine, thymine and uracil are known as pyrimidines. These are single-ringed structures. Here, we can easily remember the name of the nitrogenous that are present both in the DNA and RNA. Adenine, guanine, cytosine and thymine are present in the DNA. So, which are the nitrogenous bases present in DNA? Adenine, guanine, thymine and cytosine. These are present in DNA, while the RNA contains adenine, guanine. Instead of thymine, the RNA consists of uracil and cytosine. Okay, that's the difference between the nitrogenous bases that are present both in DNA and RNA. Only a single difference. In DNA, it is thymine instead of thymine. In RNA, it is uracil. That's about nitrogenous bases. The next component is phosphate group. Phosphate group is occurred in the form of phosphoric acid. The phosphate group is, the phosphorus is pentavalent. So the phosphate group can be represented like this: P double bond O, OH, OH, OH. Okay, this is the structure of the phosphate group that is found both in RNA and DNA. So, these are the 3 components of a nucleotide. Now, let's understand the diagrammatic structure of the nucleotide. I have told you that the RNA has ribose sugar, while the DNA has deoxyribose sugar. There is a slight difference in the structure of these 2 sugars. The ribose sugar is a pentose sugar, oxygen molecule. It has 5 carbon atoms. This is the first carbon atom, first position, second position, third position, fourth position. First position of the carbon atom, second carbon atom, third carbon atom, fourth carbon atom, and the fifth carbon atom is outside. Okay, it can be represented as CH2OH, HOH, HOH, HOH. This is the structure of a ribose sugar. Then deoxyribose sugar looks like this. First carbon atom, second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon and a fifth carbon, CH2OH, then HOH, here H, then HOH. Look at the diagram. The first one is the ribose sugar, the second one is the deoxyribose sugar. There is a slight difference between this diagram. So look at the second carbon atom of the deoxyribose sugar and the ribose sugar. Here there is an OH group, but in the deoxyribose sugar there is only hydrogen, no oxygen. That's why it is called deoxyribose sugar. So one oxygen is removed from this structure. That's why it is known as deoxyribose sugar. In the second position, in the RNA, there is an OH group, this is a hydroxyl group. It is highly reactive. That's why RNA is more reactive or unstable than DNA. Later we will learn the differences and the similarities between RNA and DNA in detail. Now you have to keep it in your mind that the second carbon atom has only hydrogen atom in the DNA, while in the RNA there is an OH group which is highly reactive in nature. So this is the difference between the two types of pentose sugar. Now you can observe the structure of a ribonucleotide. Ribonucleotide is a nucleotide that is formed of pentose sugar, phosphate group and the nitrogen base. Look at the figure. This blue color part represents the ribose sugar. Okay, it is pentose sugar, first carbon atom, second, third carbon, fourth, then fifth carbon atom. Okay, in the fifth carbon atom, there is a link between the phosphate group. That link is called phosphoester linkage. The fifth carbon atom has an OH group. It has a reaction with the OH group of the phosphate group. So it forms as a phosphoester linkage. Okay, so here a phosphoester linkage bonds the phosphate group with the fifth carbon atom of the pentose sugar. This pentose sugar has first carbon atom, and this first carbon atom has a link with the nitrogen base. This is the structure of the nitrogen base adenine. There is a link in between the nitrogen base adenine and the first carbon atom of the pentose sugar. That is called N-glycosidic link. N-glycosidic link. Okay, the link between the hydroxy group as well as the hydroxy group of the phosphate group at the fifth carbon atom is phosphoester linkage. The link between the first carbon atom of the pentose sugar and the nitrogen base is the N-glycosidic link or N-glycosidic linkage. Here, the nitrogen base along with the pentose sugar is known as adenosine. Adenine with sugar, adenosine. It is a nucleoside. This nucleoside is attached with the phosphate group by means of phosphoester linkage. Then it is called a nucleotide. So this ribose sugar plus adenine called a nucleoside, and this nucleoside is attached with the phosphate group. Then it is called a nucleotide. As it consists of ribose sugar, this structure is called ribonucleotide. You can observe the structure of deoxyribonucleotide. It also has three components. This is the deoxyribose sugar, pentose sugar, first carbon atom, second carbon atom, third carbon position, fourth carbon, fifth one. Okay, fifth carbon is attached with a phosphate group. phosphate group is occurred in the form of phosphoric acid. It forms a linkage, a link between the fifth carbon atom with the phosphate group, the OH group of the phosphate group, and forms as phosphoester linkage. Then the first carbon of the pentose sugar is attached with the nitrogen base. This is adenine by means of an glycosidic linkage. Okay, here also there is one phosphate group, then deoxyribose sugar, then one nitrogen base. It forms a nucleotide. Here it is adenylic acid. It's a nucleotide. It is also known as adenylic acid. When the adenine is combined with the sugar, it forms adenosine. This adenosine is attached with the phosphate. It forms as adenylic acid. As it is deoxyribose, it is called deoxyribonucleotide acid or deoxyribonucleotide. Got it? So what is the difference here? The second carbon atom holds only hydrogen. In this case, that is the only difference between the nucleotide of the ribose sugar, that means the DNA, and the nucleotide of the ribose sugar. Got it? Then next let's study how one nucleotide, such a nucleotide, is connected to the next nucleotide, how it forms as a dinucleotide and finally forms as a polynucleotide. Now let's understand how one nucleotide is connected to the next nucleotide and form as a dinucleotide. You know that the pentose sugar is a 5-carbon sugar. Okay, it has 5 carbon atom, first position, second, third, fourth, fifth position, and it has a connection or a link between the phosphate group like this, and the first position of the carbon atom is attached with the that adenine, so it can be represented as a box like structure, adenine. This is adenine, suppose. Okay, this is the third position of this pentose sugar. Suppose this is a nucleotide. So let me draw the second nucleotide. First, second, third, fourth and fifth carbon atom, and suppose this is thymine. Next one is thymine. Look at this. Let's understand how this is connected to the next one. One nucleotide is connected to the next by means of third position of the carbon atom with the fifth position of the next nucleotide by means of a phosphoester linkage, phosphodiester linkage. Here it can be represented as P double bond O. So look at here, the fifth carbon atom of the pentose sugar is connected to the phosphate group by means of phosphoester linkage. The first nucleotide is connected to the next nucleotide by means of phosphodiester linkage. Phosphodiester linkage. Thus it forms as a dinucleotide. So hydroxy group of the first sugar is reacted with the hydroxy group of the phosphate group here. Again, the fifth carbon atom of the second ribose sugar is also reacted with the OH group or hydroxy group of the phosphate group. Then it forms two ester linkage, phosphoester linkage. That's why it is called as phosphodiester linkage. Thus it forms as a continuous chain. So it will have a phosphate group, then a ribose sugar or deoxyribose sugar, then one nitrogen base. Got it? So again it is connected to the next by means of phosphodiester linkage. The second one is connected to the third by means of another phosphodiester linkage. So the bond that is connected the two nucleotide in a polynucleotide chain is the phosphodiester linkage. This is the way single-stranded polynucleotide is formed. Let us easily can draw the next nucleotide also. How can we draw? This is the next nucleotide. First, second, third, fourth, fifth carbon atom. Here it is connected to the third by means of what? Phosphoester linkage. Okay, this is the phosphodiester linkage. Here the bond is phosphodiester linkage. Suppose one nitrogen base, that cytosine is attached with the first carbon atom of the pentose sugar. Then it forms as a nucleotide. One nitrogen base, cytosine. Then one ribose sugar, pentose sugar, then one phosphate group, and the second nucleotide is connected to the third by means of phosphodiester linkage. Then it forms as a chain. This is a strand which has 5' end and 3' end. This is a polynucleotide chain with a 5' to 3' polarity. It means that at the 5' end there is a free phosphate moiety, and at the 3' end or 3' end there is a free hydroxyl group. That's the meaning of the polarity. So it begins with a free phosphate group and ends with a free hydroxyl group. That is the structure of a polynucleotide chain. Next, let's observe the diagrammatic representation of a polynucleotide chain. Look at the figure. This is the diagrammatic representation of a polynucleotide chain. This is actually a cartoon figure of the polynucleotide chain. This is a single-stranded chain with the 5' to 3' polarity. So look at the figure. Here you can see a free phosphate group at 5' end or 5' end. That is why the polarity begins from 5'. And at the end there is a free hydroxyl group. That's why 3' polarity. So the polarity of this strand is 5' to 3'. So how one nucleotide is connected to the next? Look at the ribose sugar. First position is attached with the nitrogen base. For denoting the double ringed structure, specific box is given for adenine. Thymine is single ringed, only single box. Guanine double ringed, cytosine single ringed. Here the ribose sugar, first, second, third carbon atom has a connection with the phosphate, then fifth carbon atom of the second nucleotide. So 3 to 5' end, 3' to 5' end. There is a connection through the phosphodiester linkage. Again, the second nucleotide with the third by means of phosphodiester linkage, 3 to 5. The third one also, the third nucleotide is connected to the fourth by means of phosphodiester linkage. The 3' position is connected to the 5' position of the next nucleotide. So it forms as a chain. So each ribose sugar is connected to the next by means of phosphodiester linkage. It has a nitrogen base, sugar and a phosphate group. As the strand has a free phosphate at the 5' end and a free hydroxyl group at the 3' end, the polarity of the strand is 5' to 3'. This is a single-stranded polynucleotide chain. It is similar to RNA. RNA is a single-stranded polynucleotide. When it comes to the DNA is a double-stranded polynucleotide chain. One more chain must be drawn like this. One sugar, phosphate and nitrogen bases. There is a base pairing in between the nitrogen bases in the case of DNA. We will learn more about DNA and its structure and its salient features in the next session. Hi dear students, I hope you have understood the topic well. With this, I conclude my session. Thank you and have a nice moment.